Okay, it's beer o'clock again on the Real Ale Guide. Today's beer is a beer from William Sharvatt, and it's the London Velvet Porter Ale and Fine Cider. So we've got a porter and a cider mixed together. Now the style of beer, I'll get to that in a moment, but it's an very, very old kind of thing to do, traditional thing to do in London, mixing stouts and ciders. I'm trying to think of the name of them now. Plain black cap, we'll get to in a moment. I've not read too much on the label. I much prefer to just get straight in and give you guys my verdict and then read the label later on in the review. So with a porter, you're expecting the beer to be dark, because the cider is never going to be that kind of dominant colour with a beer. So there we go. I was expecting a black beer. I've got a black beer. There's a little bit of light coming down at the bottom. It's a two-finger head. It's off-white. It's 5% ABV, if I've not mentioned it already. And it's very much how I was expecting it to be. Dark, black, nice looking porter. Let's get a nose on the beer then. So you know, I'm picking up a lot of roastedness to the beer. It will be very, very difficult for any kind of beer to overpower. If you're going to use a lot of roasted malt, there's not going to be a lot of ingredients out there that are going to overthrow that massive roastedness of coffee, chocolate, caramel. So indeed, in the nose, it's all them noses, all them flavours coming through. So what I'm going to look for, I'm going to look for the cider. I'm going to look for the cider first off in the taste. I'm going to ignore all them roasted, malty kind of tastes that go on. And it's interesting because I don't like cider. I don't like cider, but I like this beer. And the reason is because them dominant roasted flavours are just kind of, it's there. You're getting apple. There's a definite apple there, but it's subtle. It's not a huge... Looking at the label, I thought it would be this huge battleground of flavours from the cider, the big strong apple sharpness of the apple and the kind of carbonation that comes from cider. And then that porter, them strong roasted flavours, I thought it'd be a massive battleground, but the roasted malts for me really to dictate the beer. It dictates the flavours. So carry on looking for these cider notes. It's fruity. It's fruity. It's just it's very, very interesting. I'd like to know. I'll have to ask these guys at the brewery, because they were kind enough to contact me on one of the social networks. They said, "Do you want a few bottles of this for review?" And I thought, wow, this is very interesting. It's a new style for me. Oh, we've still got some. I'm pouring it out because I'll only end up leaving it in the bottle later on and waking up in the morning, and you know, it's a terrible, terrible feeling when you know that, oh, I've left some beer in the bottle. No way, can't believe it. Yeah, it's a nice beer. It's a very, very nice beer. So let me get onto this label, because there's a certain name for this. It's probably called London Velvet, but there's a certain name for this type of drink. In the 1890s, William Sharvatt owned a timber yard in the Old Kent Road, London. William relished the times when his suppliers from the West Country arrived with their timber. This was always accompanied by a copious supply of fine cider. William would mix this half and half with a locally brewed porter ale. Pardon me. Making a drink he described as tasting like pure velvet. the birth of London Velvet. So London Velvet then is a style of beer. It's cider and porter, or cider and stout, I imagine. Today, London Velvet is made from traditionally brewed porter ale and fine West Country cider, resulting in a rich, creamy taste, slightly dry and with a subtle sweetness. 2 great brewing traditions, 1 great taste. Okay, and it's www.london-velvet.com. Check these guys out. Come on, there we go. There's the website. So, we're drinking a beer. Now my house, this house here I'm doing the reviewing, was built in 1888. So it was probably the boom of the coal in the UK that we're talking about here. The timber, the kind of supplies. Britain was going through a huge boom back in them times. So this style of beer in this house really are from the same generation. This house is about 115 years old. Okay, let's get some more flavours. And it's nice. It's nice. I'm ignoring. If you guys are watching out there, you know what a porter tastes like. You know that kind of nice, rich, creamy mouthfeel. The coffee, the chocolate, the caramel, the roasted malt, that really nice, thick mouthfeel. You know a porter. And it's just nice and fruity with it. I was expecting to maybe wince a little bit with the cider, that, oh, I don't like cider. But they've pulled it off brilliantly where it's enough for me to go, is there cider there? I can taste fruit, but is there really cider in this beer? Time for a rating then. First of all, thanks to you guys for sending me the beer. It's been a kind of a new experience for me. I don't get many. There's not many beer styles that I haven't tried. Reviewing nearly 1,000 beers, so it's always great to grab hold of a new style. For me, I always like the session of beer. Would I drink 3 or 4 bottles of this? And the answer is, I'd probably drink 2 or 3. So I think there'd be a point where I go, okay, I want to move on to something else. But reviewing it in the bottle, 1 bottle which I'm reviewing, I like it. I like it a lot. It's very unique, it's very different, and it's very kind of hard these days to carve out a niche market for yourself, and I think these guys have done a good job on this. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 beer from the Real Ale Guide. Put your comments in the comments box. Please subscribe to my daily beer reviews, and cheers.